Hi, I'm Ted Edamanis.
Hi, I'm Elise, and we're here in Medicine Hat, Alberta, serving with the Grasslands Church.
You know, when we first started looking at this whole concept of how much money we would need at retirement, really didn't know where to begin. And so when you look at a few magazines or you read some articles on what the professionals tell you to do, you'll read things like, oh, you need to have 60 to 80% of your pre-retirement income available for you. So in order to reach that goal, you need to put away so much money based on your age and your income. And so when you read that, it ends up being a whole lot of money, substantially more than generally you can put away, because you have other things to save for, like kids' education, clothing, diapers, everything that you would normally have in raising a family. And of course, you're also at your lowest income level at that time when you're younger, in your 20s and 30s. And you don't really start to make substantially more income until you get into your 40s or 50s, but now your time is even shorter. To get to 60 to 80% is quite a significant amount and might be a lot more than you need. So whether you have an RSP or you're putting money in a TFSA, then you've got to decide, well, do I want to put it in an aggressive fund or a moderate fund or a conservative fund? And you'll probably move through those areas as you age. So you'll start out, because you have plenty of time, maybe 30, 35 years before retirement, you can start out with an aggressive sort of plan and then move to a moderate plan as you move through life. And then as you get close to 5-10 years from retirement, you might want to start putting it in a more conservative investment in order to do that. But you know, if you get online to these retirement calculators, all the banks have them, or any investment firm has these retirement calculators, you'll see that most likely you're woefully behind based on their wisdom. And if you look at CPP, well, CPP, the average amount that you're going to get from that is somewhere between $600 and $1,000 a month. And CPP was only ever meant to replace 25% of your needs. So CPP alone isn't going to get there. It's really more of a supplemental kind of retirement. The thing to think about, that, or at least that we were thinking about, is that when you get to be retirement age,
That's a nice way to put it.
you don't really need as much as you think. You've stopped saving for retirement. You're not paying for the school kids' education anymore, so you're not socking money away for that. You pretty much, if you're debt-free, you own your house, so you're not paying a mortgage. You don't have other loans to service, so you pretty much have all that you want. And if anything, you're not trying to accumulate any more stuff. You're trying to get rid of it and downsize. Mm-hmm. And that's kind of where we found ourselves when we were looking at things. But because we were debt-free, because we did work at spending 5 full years paying off all of our debt, including our house, that is how we were able to go into full-time ministry. And that opportunity came before I even reached 50 years old. I wasn't even close to retirement age. I still had a good maybe 8 more years of earning and working before I would have hit the minimum age. But something happened at my job, and I was offered an early retirement option. And of course, because we were debt-free,
Which we hadn't been in the beginning years, so don't think we were always doing well financially. We were not.
That just happened in the in the 90s, right?
Yeah.
So we were from like 93 to 98. We were working at paying our debt off, and by that time, we had become debt-free, and that's when the whole concept of coming up to Canada and working to help churches start opened up for us.
Yeah.
Our thing is you've got to be debt-free. If you can be debt-free going into retirement, you need a substantially less amount of money.
Yeah.
And our hit was 1/3 of our income, not 60 to 80%. When we took that early retirement option, we went from a six-figure income down to 1/3 of that amount. But because we were debt-free, we weren't really, we had learned to live frugally.
Yeah.
It was an easy transition. And matter of fact, we still had 2 kids in university. So even though we had kids in university, and we lost 2/3 of our income because we were debt free, and we were able to save during those years after debt free, which was not very long.
Yeah.
We were able to go into full-time ministry, and we're really glad we did. But the thing is, don't try to get there in leaps and bounds, because you'll just get frustrated. It's sort of like trying to lose 100 pounds in a month. It just won't happen. Yeah. There's a very good resource out there that Dave Ramsey teaches, and he talks about doing things in baby steps. Just small little incremental steps. We didn't do it overnight. It took us 5 years of learning how to live within our means, not using credit cards or going into any kind of debt, but paying all that debt off. And imagine all the money you spend on debt, including your mortgage, if you could have that and put that away into an investment somewhere, you would really have substantially a lot of money available for you by the time you reached retirement age. Yeah, I mean,
a week you can,
just giving up 2 dinners out a month can save you $1,300 in 1 year. And right now, the average Canadian retires somewhere between 62 and 64 years of age, and the average Canadian lives to be around 79 or 80. So hopefully a lot of us will live longer, but that just means you have to have more things put away for those years.
Or you go to live with your kids.
Yeah.
You run out, you just live with your kids.
Have more children and live with them. We have friends back in Ontario. My good friend Terry, who's now out of debt. Another friend there you might know, Mitch. He's out of debt. Now, I wouldn't recommend always following their methods because they got there in different ways, but you can get there, and once you're there, it's amazing how much less you can live off of when you sort of take a kingdom perspective on things and realize that God's going to give you what you need. He's not going to give you everything you want, but He's going to protect you and give you what you need, and that opens up a whole opportunity of things that you can do for God and serving Him.
Yeah, these have been really the best years as far as ministry goes. There's just been doors open all over. So we are very excited how God continues to bless, and with less. So gives us
with
more.
Less.
And He gives us more.
That would be a good tagline. Go with God and be blessed with less.
With less. Yeah.